my God, I forgot. I forgot about this. I mean, getting drunk and discussing transgenderism with Alex Jones. I mean, come on. Yeah, the likes dislikes is very disheartening. This is like finding two friends from completely different friend groups talking at a party. Sure.
Against gay people, but I don't want them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay. I mean, you come off like a woman, you look like a woman. They had spiders.
Finish that sentence. What was the rest of that sentence? I wonder.
Goats that were part spiders, whose udders were basically spider spinnerets, because the rest of the goat looks like a goat. It's ma'am, I'm gonna beat your ass.
Hey guys, what you're about to watch is a clip from a new episode with Alex Jones from my new podcast that just launched, The Blair White Project.
Jesus Christ. So if you don't know who Blair White is a notorious transphobic trans woman who consistently befriends some of the most disgusting people on the platform. She's close friends with Tim Pool, has made content with Alex Jones, who is a known chaser. I want to say Jordan Peterson, but I might be wrong. Yes, she's extremely transphobic and just like a piece of shit. She's a full-on like right-winger in every possible way, including in her opinions about trans people, but she's also trans. I don't know what a chaser is. A chaser is someone who purposefully fetishizes trans people and like wants to sleep with them in like a weird, creepy way. There was a vid where she was on with someone who like legit thought she should die, and she just kind of sat there and validated it. Yeah, she is the token for multiple right-wing outlets to point at and say, you're one of the good ones, but also you should die. Yeah, she's got fucking million subscribers. What's her podcast looking like? 277K. Oh, Lauren Southern, notorious Nazi who went to Italy to stop immigrants from coming on boats across the Mediterranean Sea, literally shot at them with a flare gun. Very cool. So this is probably all we need to watch, this highlight video. Yeah, she's also a fucking why I left the left fucking freak. It was her videos that made me stay in the closet for so long. I'm sorry to hear that. That documentary she made is so fucking upsetting. I didn't know she made a documentary. Oh yeah, her newest thing is talking about detransitioners. Oh hey! Come the fuck on, dude. Are you serious? That's awesome. Ultimate Pick Me Queer collab. Yeah. She debated Ben Shapiro, I guess. Oh yeah, she's come out against getting bottom surgery for some reason. Her new shit is fucking horrible. I mean, she's always been bad, but she's just gotten worse. Yeah, fat positivity TikTok is insane. Fucking pick a fucking right-wing talking point from modern day out of a hat and you'll get it. Talking about Lena Thomas or whatever, the trans swimmer, fucking drag for kids, trans kids. The detransition shit is fucking disgusting. Like, detransitioners in a lot of cases are just straight up grifters like Blair. They're fucking freaks. I do not like them. She did a ton on Jessica Yaniv, some of her most popular videos. Yeah, second most popular, third most popular. And it's like, bro, you want to talk about, like, if I don't really even remember much about Jessica Yaniv, but if Jessica Yaniv is a predator, sorry.
The day after this.
Who are you sitting across from, you know?
This video goes live on my second channel, Spotify, Apple Podcasts,
Man,
and
shut
every
the
other
fuck
platform.
up.
They can't say that.
Exactly, it's an orthodoxy, and like getting back to that, whenever I was here last week, a lot of people were commenting online. I saw it like, well, wait a minute. He hates people that are trans or whatever, but then he's here being a hypocrite. And no, I've never been a hypocrite. I'm not against any adults with whatever they want to do. I just don't want them to do it to children. I'd rather trans children, participate in suicide, because that's what happens when you don't let fucking people transition from a young age.
Yeah, I know. He does sound like he always has a sore throat.
I'm a libertarian when it comes to that. I've never changed that view. You've been listening for a long time. You know that.
He's
what
not.
I don't like is whether it's homosexual, heterosexual, whatever it is, children need to be left alone and be innocent. And if a dude walked up and started trying to tell my kids at the park, 5 and 6 year olds, about sex, you call the police. But what is the school doing it?
Okay, so random person, a school. These are the same things in Alex Jones's brain. I know I don't need to sit here and like debunk the things that Alex Jones says, but I'm still gonna, because he's just repeating. Like, Alex Jones is a person that disseminates a lot of very like commonly used talking points. Like, it comes from fucking the CIA or some shit, and then it's given to Alex Jones, and then it just kind of like filters through until it all the way gets down to like Tucker Carlson, who's like sanitized it for the masses. So I feel like stopping these kinds of points where they start and like learning like the root of them, because he's saying like teachers are predators, when it's like, no, teachers are allowed to teach about sex. That's like a normal thing, right? And like 5-6-year-olds aren't being taught about sex. They're being taught about romantic attraction, which they already express at that age. At that age, gender identity and sexuality are already firmly set. So you either crush the kids that don't conform to what you want, or you allow open discussion and allow, like, what the fuck? The Republicans are always about like reaching across the aisle and like having conversations and like get a fucking SUNY pen pal. Like, let a kid know that gay people exist and that trans people exist and they won't fucking die. Like, that's the fucking cost. But we know that conservatives don't give a shit about kids dying. They don't even want to stop school shootings. It's the equating sexuality to teaching kids about sex, but that's not what's being taught. Exactly. They're not teaching your kids how to have sex. That's not real. They're teaching them about sexuality.
Leave people alone and let them do what they want as adults.
I mean, yeah. You know, let them. I mean, ultimately, he's boiling it down to like, let people choose to be gay when they're older. It's a choice, and you'll choose degeneracy when you want to later. But also, if you choose to be trans later in life, you don't get to participate in any sports, by the way. Like, they're also doing things to adult trans people.
And then let them make their own decisions. That's what freedom's all about. So I've never been hypocritical, and I've never been...
And that's not freedom, by the way.
A fraud about that. I think you're a really nice person, really smart, neat person. I like you a lot. I think he was your friend. So
oh, yeah. I'm sure he likes you a lot, Blair.
To me, it doesn't matter. It's individuals and what they want to do in their own lives.
They call me the same shit. It's like... So it's funny that you mentioned they're calling you a hypocrite. I thought when you first started that sentence, you were going to say people were calling me that because I saw that about me. It's like...
I thought you were just going to talk about me because that's all I really care about ever.
How could you sit there and talk with him or hang out with him? Which, first of all, this isn't the first time we've been on camera together. This is like the second or third. But second of all, how are you going to tell me behind a screen how he feels when I've been in a room with him? That doesn't make any sense.
Well, I mean, but that's what's
because you have some sort of incentive to see otherwise, like money.
happening is you were on my show like 4 or 5 years ago. I mean,
yeah, kids know enough about sexuality to use it as an insult, so why not give them the knowledge that they actually understand how shitty they're being? Exactly. You get called gay in like 2nd grade. Like,
I thought you're a really smart person.
You're my first interview ever.
So I was lucky you came on my show. You're a really smart, neat person.
I don't understand
and so
how
it's
people
just not.
can have this mindset. Holy shit, we should just call conservatives old-fashioned.
I mean, that's really what the word conservative like means, but also it's not. Like, saying like they're old-fashioned is implying that like it was once acceptable when it should never be acceptable. We should call them brain dead.
Not real. I mean, you come off like a woman, you look like a woman, and it seems natural that you're a woman. But then you get some giant former, ex-con armed robber prisoner who's like deadlifting 600 pounds.
Who are you talking about? Which one? Because, I mean, deadlifting 600 pounds, that's pretty impressive. What are we talking about? My 3rd grade teacher was reading a book that used the word gay, and I remember her saying, not the bad kind. Oh, no.
And he's like, somebody goes, hey, dude, how you doing? Yeah, man, I'll get to you next. He's like, it's ma'am, I'm going to beat your ass. And he's like sitting there. That's not a woman.
It's different.
Are you talking about is he talking about the it is ma'am person? This person was deadlifting and is an ex-convict? I don't think so. I don't think that's true, actually. She's a rapper. I forgot about that. Yeah, this person's not a fucking ex-convict deadlifting 300 pounds. That's not real. But even still, irrelevant. I don't know anything about this person. Thoughts on the It's Ma'am video? I mean, yeah, this person had a reason to be upset and, like, obviously got caught in, like, a fucking viral moment or whatever. And maybe they're trying to be viral so they can get the attention for a fucking rap career. But, like, it doesn't matter. You can't tell that person they're not a woman, though. Because they're not bench pressing or deadlifting 300 pounds. And they're not, like, an ex-convict. Like, she's a rapper. They always go after trans women because they're easy victims. Yeah, exactly. They're at the intersection of marginalization, especially black trans women.
It's different. And then sitting there letting a thug do that, it's like no one buys it. And so I'm not one way for one audience and one way for another. It's all completely
But you are, though. But you are. You just, like, find one of them attractive. Like, am I wrong?
I don't hate anybody. I'm not a hypocrite. And I'm not sitting there putting people down. You're not hurting anybody.
It's more convenient for us to hate each other. Let's just be real. It keeps things the way that it is, and it keeps this crazy divide by making it more convenient for me to sit here and think that you're going to have a grudge against me or that you're not going to like me.
Yeah, but I don't just not dislike you. I like you.
Exactly.
And I like the crew out here and all these cool people. I mean, it's just stupid. And what I'm saying is it shouldn't be a political agenda. What
Yeah, let's not make it political, guys. Advocating for rights should not be political. Come on.
people do in their personal lives or their identities or who they are. And there is one thing about humans, we change our environment and we change who we are, and it is a fact that we are controlling our evolution. But the globalists then hijack that great truth and say, that's right, and we're going to control the evolution, and we're going to be in the driver's seat, and that should not be done.
You said that it was a
Who? Also what? And why?
I want to do that. Can we take a 5-second break?
yeah.
All right. That water you have was so good, and I stole it. And I'm going to be good this week, okay?
Okay. We need a little more water.
Does that mess you up?
No, you're
Anyway,
fine.
I'm going to try to get out of this and see if we can go eat. So,
Yeah, we should go out to eat.
we should. Let me just sit this back.
Yeah, you're good.
Fuck it. Go ahead,
I'm gonna
sorry.
have a sip of this.
That's yours. I
Yeah.
stole yours.
So
Let's start over. But I mean, here's the deal. Start your question over. I apologize.
Yeah, I don't know why the fuck they kept that in. That's very weird. I love how the segment's called how Alex Jones feels about trans people when he really like hasn't said anything. He's like, I like you, but I don't like this other video that I saw. That's his opinion. Do you think she realizes that he literally only respects her because she looks feminine enough for him? No. Well, yes, she does realize it, of course.
And tell me a little more because I'm fascinated by it. You said that it was a depopulation scheme. So what is that? 'Cause
Sure.
I want to know.
Dude, that's the same shit people were saying about gay people in like the 50s. Is it?
If you have too many gay people, then how can you make babies still?
You know?
And it doesn't mean that people have a proclivity or genetically or for whatever reason are predisposed to something or bad people. It means there's an agenda hijacking that to basically, because obviously you're super smart and you're successful, but
Keep complimenting her, man. It's not weird at all.
I've had members of the UK Parliament on there, even liberals, where overall they are targeting autistic boys, and they are targeting low IQ and Down syndrome and stuff as a way to make sure that they don't have any children. They are basically using that as the cover for sterilization, and then also there's a larger issue of all the studies.
Alex Jones's solution. Yeah, like the AA, that's not even true. But like Alex Jones would rather like murder differently abled people. Like puberty blockers aren't sterilization. Yeah, let's make this perfectly clear. The sterilization that he's talking about is bottom surgery. That is the point where, and like maybe hormones to a certain degree, but like you're not sterile until you've had bottom surgery. And even still, you can freeze sperm, which people have done, and you can freeze eggs, which people have done. So you can still have a biological child of your own. And cis kids also use puberty blockers. Oh, Sabrina, thank you for the frickin' raid. We're being raided, guys. We're watching Alex Jones and Blair White. Yeah, we're watching actually Sabrina's favorite YouTube channel. Yeah, no one is doing gender affirming surgery on minors. No one's doing that. And I love when people like Alex Jones say it's a pharmaceutical industry ploy, which I'm sure he will say at some point, when like a lot of people who get bottom surgery don't even do it in the United States because it's hard to get done. A lot of people leave the country. A lot of people go to Thailand. A lot of people go to fucking what's it called? I think it's Taiwan. I don't remember. But there are places to get it done better and cheaper that more people do. So I don't know the fucking pharmaceutical industry fucking argument. That doesn't make any sense to me.
We have a lake in East Texas on our ranch, and we wanted to get carp in it to eat the plant, so it's clear water. And you go to the state of Texas, and they give you sterilized carp that have had a chemical put in the water that makes them asexual. And so what we know is atrazine and a lot of other chemicals in utero in the first trimester can basically change a lot of the sexual traits, either physically or also where you can see it, or to a less degree inside brain development. And so you do.
So chemicals in the carp made it. That's not how it works, though, by the way. You don't like. Asexuality is not sterilization. Those are two very different things.
You have a lot of boys who in utero are more feminine and express
Everyone starts out the same with fucking tails.
more feminine traits, and so it really is the fact
Expressing more feminine traits in utero? Huh?
that they are more like a girl than a boy. And that's showing up in mammals, it's showing up in reptiles, it's showing up everywhere. with the chemicals, and so that's where you get
Slay.
the famous.
Yeah, with the chemicals. Yeah, the chemicals are estrogen and the ones that are in your brain already. Also, that's not true. Dehydrated ace gang. And like none of this accounts for other cultures' views of sexuality and or not sexuality of sex and gender as different things, as third gender, two spirit, like never considered by weirdos like this.
I'm not against gay people, but I don't want them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
He said it. Pog, he said the line. Now that's funny. Do you think Blair asked him to say that? She was like, "Could you just like work that in so I could put it in the beginning of the video, just to get it in there?" Yeah, say the line, Bart.
And like literally all over, the world, different species of frogs that get these chemicals are no longer attracted to the opposite sex. Whatever it does to the endocrine disruptors, is it?
That's not true. What he's talking about are the frogs that become hermaphroditic and end up changing sexes. It doesn't affect reproduction at all, actually. You need to go to church tomorrow. Oh no, my schedule.
It causes a bunch of things to happen, and so we should be having a larger discussion about why there's this proclivity and why this is happening. Not hate people that have been affected by it, and of course, going back thousands of years ago.
This like infantilization is very common among transphobes. Like, oh, I don't hate you. Like, I pity you. I feel bad because you're victims, and I want to help. Alex Jones is like the weird uncle that everyone ignores and or laughs at. Yeah, except he has a very popular show.
There were a certain percentage of the population that was already like that to begin with, so I don't hate any of those people. What I'm getting at is that there is a larger scientific body of evidence that shows that this is a cultural thing, but more importantly, it's something happening biological.
Wrong.
Yeah, I think the
Just Blair chiming in for the first time in 7 minutes. Yeah.
I don't know which is scarier, the cultural part or the biological, because
That's insane. That is fucking insane. Alex Jones proposes this theory that there is a chemical leak that is causing asexuality as a means of population control. And Blair's like, I don't know what's scarier. That or when I see a blue hair non-binary on TikTok. I just don't know.
like I've felt trans my entire life. Probably 5 was the earliest age I had the feelings.
Yeah, that's usually pronounce.
But I also am able to recognize that as I get older, I'm watching 5-year-olds being told they're that way, which is the opposite for me, which was
Who? Where? Give me one fucking clip. Give me one example.
I had these feelings and they weren't validated by everyone around me or pushed. It was just the kind of fucking happened.
But you still felt that way though. So if someone was validating you, maybe you wouldn't turn out to be such like a bitter monster.
But now you have these 5-year-olds that are being told because they like girly things or because they like boyish things as a girl that they must be the opposite sex. And it's almost
That's not what you said though. And that's the funny part, is that you said you felt trans. It wasn't that you were interested in boyish things or girlish things. You felt that you were trans. But when it's other kids, now it's because they like boyish things or girlish things.
this ideological push. And I guess that would make sense if the theory is that this is a depopulation scheme or at least one aspect of it. But that's scary.
Well, I mean, there is no doubt they want to destroy the family, and they don't want to have single family dwellings.
That's fucking insane. Who the fuck is saying that?
And they want to not just have GMO.
I agree with that.
Not just
Like communists on Twitter will be like, yeah, single family homes are evil. Communists on Twitter with like 13 followers. Like,
have GMO crops. They want to have GMO people.
if there was a possibility to genetically modify people to be like whatever you wanted or whatever, they would use it for the military, which they kind of already do, given like how much shit they give people who have served in the military. In their food, they give them untested vaccines, they give them all kinds of fucking shit. It's insane to me that like the results of like all this shit is like, oh no, it's trans people actually, and trans people are trying to destroy the family and single family homes. I'm like 99% Blair doesn't believe in non-binary. I don't think she does.
And you've got all these animal-human hybrids that they never roll out in the public, but that they've been producing.
How much does Alex Jones chain smoke? I mean, it's like, I think it's cigars. As a gay trans person, the thing that destroyed my relationship with my family was not me. I wanted a relationship with my family. It was them for not accepting me for who I am and abandoning me when I needed the most. That's what's destroying families. That's true. You're right about that one.
And all these different medical experiments that don't have rights. They don't have animal rights. They don't have human rights. They're this
I'm sorry that happened, by the way, Jungle Beast.
no man's land. And so they're kind of using the trans agenda to get you used to saying a biological man can compete against women, or a biological man can be in prison and 2 women got pregnant. That's not true. So they're also just using it to basically be illogical and then scapegoat a group of people that are innocent like yourself, and they know
What? Like, I love how they have to like cut around him because he's just fucking spitting. You know, they're cutting out the truth, brother. They probably don't understand what being trans is. That being trans is not only female to male, male to female. They want to insist on that because that's how they keep it like as simple as possible. When like the science supports gender being so much more amorphous than that, like they have to uphold gender roles at the very least. You know
what they're doing, and it's total divide and conquer, like you said, and it needs to stop.
Yeah.
Because
can I get back? I don't want to forget this question because when you were saying it, I was like, I got to get back to this, but then we kept going about the other shit. The human animal hybrids.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know much about that. That just sounds like some crazy shit. Not in a bad way. It just sounds like nuts.
Not in a bad way. You just sound fucking stupid.
Can you just give me the for dummies version of what's happening there?
Growing human organs is obviously going to be one of the biggest industries ever.
Yeah.
And it's hard to create artificial wombs to do that. Also, if something's 100% human, it's got rights. And if something's an animal, it's even got rights. But if it's a new species, an alien, which means never been on the earth before, part human, part animal, now that human-animal hybrid doesn't have rights.
We're just like so off the fucking grid now. This is nothing.
And so you can gestate it usually in a cow, but they grow other animal-human hybrids, pig-human hybrids, you name it, inside cows. So
is it bad that this kind of sounds like the Shane Dawson podcast? It kind of sounds like Shane going like, I saw this scary picture and I think they're making human animal hybrids. I don't really know much about that. She says about a thing that there's nothing to know about because it doesn't exist. Yeah.
Those cows are generally being given anti-rejection drugs, or themselves are part human, so that they can then not reject the humanoid they're growing up inside of it. And I remember 25 years ago seeing like MIT reports on it. And then even 5 years ago, they had articles, human-animal hybrids are gestating or in utero on farms across the U.S. That's a real headline. And it just admits there's thousands of these clones. And I've talked to some people that have worked in biomedical areas that have been involved in it, including University of Texas.
Uh-huh.
And one time I was actually given a little tour, and I was off records. I can't get into all of it, but I was able to.
Oh, man, he can't. He was off the record. Okay. Yeah, he's talking to fucking nobody.
See some of these.
Oh my god.
Over CCTV at a facility out in Bastrop.
You sure are talking a lot about it, like exactly where it is and what it is, even though you can't say anything else.
From UT, downtown. I was able to look at it. It was a DARPA program. That was about 23 years ago. And these were human-animal apes that they're using for medical experiments. And they admit that's going on. It's in the National Academy of Sciences and in the NIH and all that's going on. And so, but here's the deal. I'm talking about it. It's like I'm talking about Mars because it sounds crazy. But,
I don't think it actually sounds that fucking crazy. Mm-hmm. I think it sounds out of what we think would be acceptable. But then you look throughout history.
Well, that's it. It's all segregated away where you don't see it.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ. It's like beyond the pale. The only thing, and this is a Hassan take that I'm stealing because I agree with it. I think Alex Jones is a CIA informant, like for sure. I think he is given some information that's true and some information that's false, and it's used as like a psyop to like confuse people, to be like, well, when you talk about, I don't know, Operation Paperclip, how NASA was like headed by Nazi scientists. Well, Alex Jones talks about that, but that's real though. You know what I mean? No, they chose him. No. People were saying like, oh, it went wrong. It's a failed experiment. No. It's on purpose. It's to make you sound crazy when you're right, because he also said it, because he's right sometimes. I don't think he's right now, but he's proof MK Ultra is still happening.
You think of so many experiments throughout history. You think of so many surgeries that we have now that we deem as important in a routine that were born out of the Nazi experiments. And you think of, so much crazy shit that goes on. It's not actually that unbelievable. It's wild, but it's not that unbelievable.
Exactly. And what's frustrating to me is 99% of what I cover is open source and not debatable. And then they'll just lie and say I'm making it up. But, I mean, that's really going on. I mean, in the last week, they had the Washington Post, the New York Times, Bloomberg, the Financial Times in London all say it's time to have dictators. Freedom isn't good. It's time to censor. It's time to be in a tyranny.
Yeah, actually, I did see that New York Times headline. It's time to be in a tyranny. That was a wild one.
These are headlines saying this, that it's time to have a dictator. This is what the Davos Group and the globalists are selling.
Yeah. I just have another question about the animal hybrids. What level of, this is almost my morbid curiosity, I'm going to a dark place right now. What level of consciousness did they have that they are an experiment? Did they have like animal intelligence? Did they have human intelligence, somewhere in between? Do you even know? How much can you say?
Well, if you know how mad scientists work, and if you look at the spirit of evil that runs things, it's mad scientists, the sky's the limit. There are thousands of admitted projects in the U.S. that have happened, thousands in China, ones I've seen in like financial reports out of Costa Rica, South Korea, just everywhere. So,
and don't forget your thought, but I've seen a lot of like studies about like when the government would operate on like mentally children.
oh, absolutely. You've had
so,
all the
yeah.
secret medical experiments and Tuskegee, but I mean, you were asking how far along it is. I mean, I don't know.
See what I mean? He's talking about the Tuskegee. I don't know how to pronounce it. The Tuskegee experiments, which is real. God damn it! In like a sea of nonsense.
23 years ago or so, I saw a CBS News article about a military base in upstate New York
I also think he's done hallucinogens and has literally hallucinated some of the things he's talking about.
that had spider goats on it. So I was my own producer then, so I
Spider.
called
This might be one of the things he hallucinated.
spider goats.
Okay.
So I call the name of the guy on the thing. He answers. He goes, yeah, I'll come on your show. Yeah, I got a Defense Department contract. I'm a genetic engineer. We create body armor out of the milk of these goats that are, part spider. And all of a sudden, all hell broke loose. He got in a bunch of trouble for talking to me, but he'd been in CBS News. I have had people, after that happened, walk up to me on the street and go, you're a liar. We can't splice goats and spiders. Well, since then, there's thousands of articles admitting spider goats. Anybody can type in spider goats. You'll get articles going back, 20 years. The point is that they kind of report it to see what we do and then kind of pull back. And so that's my point is if
Whoa.
20-something years ago,
They're real, but they're just regular goats that just have like thick milk. Dragline silk, stronger than Kevlar. Doesn't seem like a big secret. This is from The Guardian from like fucking 10 years ago. And like they're not spider goats. They just have fucking thick milk. Biosteel, is that what it's called? Biosteel. It's fucking cool.
they had spiders, goats that were part spiders, whose udders were basically spider spinnerets, because the rest of the goat looks like a goat, but the udders are like a spider spinneret deal.
Holy.
Look it up, guys.
It's just the milk. It's just thick milk that is really strong, I guess.
not making this up. It's not even debatable. That's 20-something years ago. So, and I
Wow.
interviewed the head of the project. It's just insane. Like, I had the head of HARP on like 25 years ago, because back then I wasn't a big show, so I could just call and get people on. Like, oh, yeah, come on, tell us about HARP. He's the top scientist. He comes on. There's an Air Force colonel on the line. In case anything's classified, they kill the interview in 20 minutes and cut the guy off. He's like, well, yeah, HARP can't ignite the atmosphere. We can't control the weather. And like, that's a real interview with the real head of HARP. That really happened. So much of what I've done has just been really open source.
Well, of all the that you talk about, I think that the spider, or not the animal-human hybrids are actually probably one of the more believable things that you talk about. I think.
No, I'm done with this. This sucks. Interview me instead. Way more cool and drink spider goat milk every day. Also, you suck. You smell. I think that was good. Yeah, that was fucking awesome. So, I mean, he just fucking spat, Alex Jones was just spitting for a while.